Okay, so my last video was pretty divisive. Divisive. It was about this dude, Tim Henson. Now, I made that video out of more curiosity than anything. I like Polyphia, and I enjoy Tim's playing. He just seems to get a lot of hate, so I just wondered why. I was not prepared for the comment section. I'll leave a link to that video in the description if you want to go and check it out after this one's finished. But it got me wondering about other guitar players and who was the most hated. Aside from Tim, obviously. I asked a question on X and I got quite a few interesting responses. Oh, feel free to follow me on X, by the way, and keep up to date with the channel and all the news and some memes and stuff. I'm pretty active. I'm usually available to chat and stuff. I'm, pretty relatable. So, yeah, today, the most hated guitar players ever. So there's a ton of reasons that guitar players could be hated. The music they play, well, they're just shitty people. This list isn't just like my opinions and stuff. I did take a bit of a poll. I mean, I like quite a few of the guitar players on the list. Anyway, let's do this. Right, first up we've got John Mayer. Now, these aren't in any particular order. This doesn't mean that John Mayer is the most hated or anything like that. Like I said, these just seem to be the consensus. It's not my list, but also feel free to weigh in the comments. If I get like another few more, I might make another video. So, John Mayer. Now, don't get me wrong, Mayer, great guitar player. I'm not a fan of his music, but the dude can play. I mean, it's pretty safe to say that he's revolutionised modern guitar playing and he's put the guitar as an instrument in front of a lot of people who wouldn't necessarily have noticed guitar before. I'm looking at you mainstream pop fans, but I guess that's one of the reasons for him being so unpopular. Pop music and stadiums full of screaming girls. And of course the John Mayer tax on the Ibanez TS10s. Bastard. Now, I don't know, maybe it's just one of those things that rock and metal fans hate to see. Someone taking their music and watering it down and going mainstream with it. Got to admit though, dude's released some solid tracks over the years. Next up, Esteban. Real name, Stephen Paul. He's more known to our American cousins, I think. Esteban used to be very well known for dressing up like Timu Zorro and shilling cheap shite classical guitars for stupid money on the shopping network channels. I don't know what's worse, ripping people off with junk guitars or dressing like Zorro. Anyway, next up, Chad Kroeger. Chad. Who names their kid Chad? Okay, so first reason, Nickelback. Second reason, called Chad. Third reason, Nickelback. The whole Stone Sour thing. I mean, that's a whole other video. He married Avril. Nickelback. And by all accounts, dude's a bit of a jerk. I think that's enough, don't you? Next, Jack White. Now, personally, I've got no beef with White. I mean, when I asked for the most hated guitar players, his name kept cropping up. The White Stripes. And Jack's music, I suppose, is it's not for everyone. It's an acquired taste. I mean, I do like some of their earlier stuff, because I'm a hipster. But I think that a lot of the hate comes through the fact that Jack is merely an okay guitar player. I mean, he's no guitar god or shred lord. But he seems to get a lot of press, like, doing that TV special with Jimmy Page and Edge. And, it's press that people don't think he seems to deserve. I mean, Seven Nation Army's hardly Stairway to Heaven, is it? So I can understand some of the hate, I guess. Next up, DeVille, the Poison guitarist. Right, I'm not going to lie, when I was about 16, I used to love the music of Poison back in the day. It was a good way of meeting girls. Not so much now. Funny that. But CC, even back in the 80s, he used to get a lot of shit for his guitar playing and over-the-top indulgences in recreational pharmaceuticals. And, as some of you may know, he's been slammed for his over-the-top shred wankery type solos from back in the day. I mean, one of his live performances, I think it was the MTV one, was even declared as the worst guitar solo of all time. But it's really weird how one poor performance, I mean, he was pretty messed up, from the early 90s can overshadow your entire career and your image. Well, that's the way it goes in the industry, as he's often hated by rock and metal fans. Next up, Varg Vikernes. Technically, Varg isn't a guitar player, he's a bassist, but it's a kind of guitar. I couldn't leave him off the list. There's not really much explaining to be done here. The infamous bars and mastermind Varg, who became known as the bassist of Norwegian black metal band Mayhem, spent about 15 years behind bars for burning down churches and killing his bandmate. If this wasn't enough, his ideology didn't really help him become a very loved guitar player. I mean, you got to give him his dues for committing to the whole thing. Next up, Angelo Batio. Now, let's get one thing straight. Angelo Batio has pushed the limits of modern guitar. I mean, dude can shred. But say what you will, when it comes to technique, he is one of the best players of all time. But what people might criticise him for is his songwriting. I mean, sure, he's been praised for his shredding skills, but not very often for the music he makes. Thus, all the constant hate. Maybe undeserved, but, you know, since many can't compete with him, who knows? He's still hated to this day. I mean, combine all that with his recent David Gilmour comment and it adds a bit more hate to the mix. Here's the keys to the Ferrari. For fuck's sake. Next up, Stevie T. Right, confession time. I used to enjoy Stevie T's videos back in the day. You know, the ones where he used to do the shredemptions? You know, you'd find a band or a song that really sucked, like, you know, just some unknowns, and then he'd like make a video of him making the song better and put like a couple of really cool guitar solos and sing. I mean, he used to put so much work into his videos. I'm not surprised that he got so many subscribers on the YouTube. But these days he just seems to have got lazy. Now it's all just misheard lyrics in rap songs and stuff like that. And then there's the silly faces, forced jokes and fake over-the-top reactions. I mean, it's a shame because the dude really can play. Next up, we've got Yngwie Malmsteen. Look, I'm a huge Yngwie fan. I love his music and I love his guitar playing. But he can be a bit of a tool. A certain portion of guitar-orientated music fans just dislike his music. Despite being praised for lightning speed and extremely precise neoclassical solo sections, some would argue that there's no substance behind any of it. I don't care, I enjoy it, it's great, I can listen to it all day. And then there's the thing with the donuts. Right, if you don't know about that, just Google it. Right, few honourable mentions. Ted Nugent, politics and his bow and arrow thing, I think. Richard Benson. See, not touching that with a 10-foot pole because I've heard he's sick or something. Richie Blackmore, huge egomaniac. And Eric Clapton, a little bit racist. The Edge. Where do I start? But that could be more to do with Bonio and an overuse of delay pedals. Look, I know this list isn't exhaustive, but feel free to jump in the comments and let me know who I missed out. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe. It really, 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 really helps the video out, and it doesn't cost anything. I've got merch for sale, everything from t-shirts to shower curtains. You can also buy super chats and memberships. They also help support the channel. They're very appreciated. I always say thank you as well. And don't forget, I stream every Wednesday, 9 PM UK time. It's usually just me and a buddy or two, and we're talking about guitars and gear and, you know, stuff like that. Come and join in. The chat's very welcoming. Anyway, hope to see you there. Thanks again. Take it easy. Peace out.